Good morning, you guys. Happy Friday. It's been a long, very productive week here in the studio, and today I'm focusing on some, pet commissions. I just finished up a bunch of them and actually dropped them off yesterday to different people, and that was fun. And I got this one from a good friend of mine, and this is Murphy, and Murphy passed away, I think, last month. So I am going to work on this, and this is kind of cool because it's kind of a multimedia type portrait where we're using the Dura Lar Graphix paper, so we can work on the front and the back of the paper, and we can add like cool like highlights and stuff. And this is for one of my very best friends, so I want to make it very special for her. So I also knew this cat, so it's a little bit different when I when I know the cat personally. I know that sounds kind of strange, but maybe not. Maybe you guys understand. So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna work on the eye first, and I have my colors picked out, kind of picked out. I should get better at. Sorry, I should get better at picking out my colors beforehand and being a lot more organized, but that's just not how I work. So I'm just going to give myself grace in that way and go for it. I've started to draw some Barbies too, and I thought it would be like a cool idea to do a still life, like a hyper realistic still life of some of the 80s Barbies that I have. But I need to actually take the pictures. And that, if I could show you my studio, and I probably will, I'll probably film and put it over on Patreon, like how messy and disorganized I am. I really need to get better at organizing everything. I probably should move the reference photo too, but listen, this is what we got going on right now. I think I'm going to heat up my coffee. That will help. Coffee. It's super hot now. So I know what's going to happen is I'm going to set that right there, and then I'm going to forget about it. And then I get to heat it up 9 gajillion times during the day. I know that there is this really pretty pattern down here. Gosh, I need to get comfortable. Sorry. I know that's very annoying. Okay. So I do have the printout underneath it, and this actually just saves me time in having to do a grid and all this stuff, because I really like doing the hyper realism. And on the Dura Lar, you have to do such tiny layers of detail that at least I know where my space is and where everything is. And then once it's completed, I can either cut out the cat in the back and leave it as like another layer of realism, or I can just like cut out a white piece of paper in the shape of the cat and put it back. There's lots of different things that you can do with the graphics paper, and I like experimenting with it. I've seen some people like melt crayons behind it and do paint, and it's really cool actually. So we'll see what I decide to do, because you never know. I've been working with a trauma therapist who is absolutely amazing, and one of the things that we're working on is not throwing away my artwork. And it's been challenging, honestly, just to like stick with things and not get overwhelmed and throw them away. So that's been something I've been working on. So sometimes Friday Chelsea has a great idea, and then Saturday Chelsea is like, that was stupid. So I think I just need to just allow myself to make mistakes, and they don't need to be mistakes, you know? They can just be happy little accidents. I think I had a dream, and I'm like remembering this, and I can't remember if like I actually said it like with a real conversation or if I made it up like in my dream. But so many famous works of art are famous, or even like not even works of art, but like toys or like boxes of toys are famous because of the imperfections on them. And I mean, and us as artists, we're so concerned about being perfect. And it's like, it's the perceived imperfections that actually make it unique and not like made from a factory. So I really hope that my head is not in the way here. I'm also like hyper fixated on the fact that my sister is going to call, and I'm going to have to stop recording. But I talk to her every morning. She is actually the coolest. So grateful that we were able to find each other on through DNA, you know, and that she turned out to be so cool. And I kind of always end up telling her story like above mine, and hopefully she doesn't mind me talking about this to like the 4 people that will view this. But she didn't know anything. Like, she didn't know that her biological father was her biological father until 2020. So like 6 years ago, she didn't know that everything was, you know, that pretty much everything that she knew was wrong. Like, all of her siblings are half siblings, and it was a lot for her to process. So, you know, at least I knew. Well, I didn't know I had a sister, that's for sure. I knew that I had, like, definitely had 2 brothers, half brothers. But finding out that I had a sister and that she's also an artist and that she also restores doll things like doll houses, and it was the best gift that I could have ever received. And I've just lived my whole life not even knowing about her. And she didn't know about me until the summer when I just got this download, I guess, from universe, which is like how I like to look at it, that I needed to take a DNA test. And then I did. And lo and behold, I have a whole sister. And we are going to go visit her in April. And I'm hoping that I get to see my nieces and nephews and grand nieces and nephews. It'd be really cool. So she does pet portraits too, you guys. Isn't that nuts? Like, how's that even in the DNA? Okay, moving on. We had a little bit of a breakfast break and then a lunch break, and then I had to work on a different project, and now we are back with Murphy. Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna go all over with the cinnamon light fast. I'm just doing really light pressure. And like I said, I like using light fast because it takes a lot of layers by itself to be seen. So I like that part of it. Just listening to a court case. So if you heard that, that was what I was listening to. But sometimes the lawyers upset me to the point where I have to turn it off. All right, we're gonna go back in with some gray. This is the warm gray, 50%. Hold on, I gotta sharpen it. Okay. Okay. I'm using a little bit more pressure. Okay. Just scanning in those colors. I was listening back to some of the stuff I'm doing, and you can just hear me breathe so deeply. I'm sorry. Try to put some of that shadow in here. If you guys haven't tried the Dura Lar paper, you really should. It takes a little bit of practice, but okay. I think that needs to be a little bit toned down, but that's okay. I'm not going to do details. I'm just trying to get in the base layers here. And talking to you holds me accountable for that. Okay. And this part is definitely more of a burnt sienna, but like I said, I'm just putting down the orange. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with the salmon color for the ears. This is such a beautiful cat, truly. All right, I think I'm going to stop here today, and I will pick it up and show you some of my progress later on next week. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.